Howdy, everybody. All right, so it's just me right now. Yvonne had to get changed. Thought it was just a members and patrons live stream. Didn't realize it was a public live stream. So she's throwing on more hockey related stuff than she does for the other live streams. Let's see. Yeah, we all want our hockey back. That'd be great. I'm big in the chat. Chances of Carlson being traded. Well, there's going to have to be a third team involved if it happens, but we're getting pretty far into the summer. I don't know. There aren't very many teams that have the room, even with a third team, say taking on say 2, 3, 4 million. There's just not enough space. I think the best time to move Carlson's probably next summer. But of course, he's coming off a career year. Does he play as well next year? Does that drive down his value? We shall see. I don't necessarily see the Caps back in the playoffs this coming season, but anything's possible. They didn't fully go into rebuild mode, and they picked up Pacioretty, right? So if he stays healthy, we'll see.
I don't know what you've read, what you haven't, or anything.
The next number one in Montreal, I think they want it to be Caden Primo. I think that's what they want. But I believe they drafted 2 goalies in this draft. So, yeah, they're going to have some options.
Hello. Would you do a video with Gritty?
That'd be great.
That'd be fun.
We just don't go to Philly.
No.
And he doesn't go to California or Las Vegas that I've seen. So, I mean, the closest I can get is I've got that little stuffy of Gritty. Yes. I could do a little video with him.
Wow, my hair's
special.
Something, yeah.
You look special.
I didn't look in a mirror.
That's all right. I'll just try not to make
I don't generally look in the mirror when I do my hair.
I'll try not to look directly at you during this. So it's all
that's something.
Fine. It's
fine. Been a huge fan for a long time. Finally, I'm in a less busy chat. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll get a
off season.
Hi.
Howdy, and an off season. So yeah, the chats are a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, in the middle of the week. Oh, I should probably tell my mom. She'll be upset if I didn't warn her that we were doing a live stream.
Well, you didn't warn her.
I know, because I didn't know. Hold on. Messaging my mom.
Happy end of July. So I plan on watching the Women's World Cup. Well, I saw that Canada's out. So Canada lost against the Australians.
Yep.
So I'll root for Australia. I've been watching it here and there. And so the fact that it's in Australia, New Zealand makes it a little bit tricky because of the timing, but I'll watch what I can.
Loved your reaction to when the Canucks win the cup.
Yeah, I just laughed. I couldn't say it with a straight face because I was trying to say, okay, so, how would fans react to Stanley Cups for any of the 32 teams? And when I got to the Canucks, I was like, I can't. I can't even fathom the Canucks winning a Stanley Cup. So, yeah.
Where are all of the cats at?
Shadows here.
Bear's right there.
Azrael's been hanging off of me all afternoon. I'm not sure where she is right now. But she's been following me. I've had to carry her. She keeps snuggling. I'm like, what is wrong with you? What are you after? She just keeps snuggling and nuzzling. And I'm like, what? She's never like that. Not for that long.
Pixel is watching cartoons with Adelaide. And Maple was in my sewing room because I was just in my sewing room a couple minutes ago. She was sleeping on my ironing board.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's helpful like
That's one of her favorite spots.
It is. That, or if I'm trying to cut out a pattern, it's on the pattern.
And then she has started to stay in this little house that normally Licorice is in. And so she's basically taken it away from him, which I think is kind of mean.
Yeah.
I put her out, and then she gets upset with me because I put her out. But, I mean, it's his spot.
Adelaide is not watching Tom and Jerry. Even when I was little, I didn't really like Tom and Jerry.
No.
They weren't my favorite.
No, I grew out of Tom and Jerry pretty quick.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was only a certain number of channels on.
Right, so you had to watch it. So even if you didn't like it, that's the cartoon that was on.
I wasn't a fan. I mean, it was better than Rocket Robin Hood, but everything on planet Earth was better than Rocket Robin Hood.
True. career videos. It's summer. Please, hockey guy.
I've got a couple of career videos recorded for when we're on holiday. There's a bunch of videos I've been doing. I did the video ranking defensemen. So if people get mad at me, I can be like, that was weeks ago. I have no idea. I don't even know where I put anybody.
I don't remember.
I rank goaltenders. That video's on the channel. It just hasn't gone live yet. There's going to be a redraft. So while we're on holiday, I've already done, I think, 18 of the jersey collection videos so far. So there'll be a lot of content while we're on holiday, and career videos will be part of that.
There you go. What's the oldest jersey you have? And do you still have the first hockey jersey that you ever got?
I do. That's the Canucks one that's really beat up.
I have done a whole lot of repair work on that one.
Actually, I might have got that in 89. Trying to think back. I think it was 89 that I got that.
It doesn't look horrible for how worn it is.
Oh, it is.
I did a lot of work on it.
I hand sewed the logo back on a couple of times.
Yeah. So I had to kind of do some patchwork and use the proper kind of thread to do that, so that it,
to me, it was any thread was the proper kind of thread.
See, but if you use certain threads, it looks significantly
because I didn't want it coming off.
Right.
I was like, all right, well, I gotta sew this up. Hand sewing.
Hey guys, hope all is well with the McDavid and Oilers. Get over the hump finally, and can Torts make Flyers a potential surprise team in upcoming season?
I can't see the Flyers ending up in the playoffs or in the mix this year. There's just too many holes in the lineup, but I think that's kind of the plan. The Oilers are still right there. Like I really think that the Oilers could very well still be a team that breaks the over 30 years now of no Stanley Cups in Canada. I think the Oilers have a decent chance.
Do you think you've hit 1,000 jerseys?
No.
I don't think he's anywhere close to that.
No.
Nowhere close to that. There are a lot of jerseys.
I've slowed down significantly over the last year. It's other than the reverse retros.
Right.
So, yeah.
Because luckily, knock on wood here, Shannon only really does the NHL jerseys and doesn't, like, he gets gets some of the affiliates, but not, he doesn't focus on that to getting all of the affiliates that they've ever had or anything like that. I think I know there are some teams. Yes,
I have at least one jersey for every single AHL affiliate now.
But you don't do the home and the away and all the past jerseys and stuff. And I think if you did, that's when we'd get to stupid amounts of jerseys.
I have a home and away for Henderson, home and away for Abbotsford.
Yes, I know.
Home and away for Hershey.
I know, and then there's a few
home and away for
like 4 of them.
For Manitoba, for Chicago, for the Wolves.
Yeah, I was going to say the Wolves. I know you have several.
I have 2 different ones for the Texas Stars, including that awesome one that's just so Texas and so America. I think I have more America. I have more AHL jerseys than I think you realize that I have. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. There are very few teams I don't have both the home and away for now.
Oh my gosh, Shannon.
Yeah. Most of them I have home and away, like Milwaukee home and away, the Iowa Wild home and away. I don't have Providence, but I have Rochester. I have the Gulls home jersey, well, the dark one, and I have the blue one as well. With the Tucson Roadrunners, I have 4 jerseys.
I know
for the Tucson
you have a bunch of Roadrunners. I know that one because you get so excited every time to.
They're great jerseys. They're such great jerseys.
I know.
They're fantastic. So, yeah, I have more AHL than I think she realizes I do.
Probably
about 70 or 80 of the AHL ones.
Put it in there and I wouldn't even notice because there's so many.
I have 2 Wilkes-Barre. I
know that.
Oh, Utica. I got a bunch of Utica because I had Canucks Utica and now I've got Devils Utica.
Disney World next week. That sounds fun.
Disney World would be fun, but we're not doing that this summer.
No. Who are your top AL and NL teams? And who ultimately makes the World Series?
Oh, geez. I haven't really
American
been keeping
League
up.
And National League?
I haven't been keeping up with baseball as much as I'd like to. I know that the Sox are below the line. I'd like to see the Jays. Honestly, I'd love to see the Jays do something. But like, I think it's Baltimore that's leading the division right now. It's nice to see teams that aren't normally doing well do well. Out in the National League, I would cheer for Pittsburgh, but I don't know that there's much point in that. I think the Phillies are in the running right now. I apologize again. I just haven't been following Major League Baseball as much as I probably should be. Yvonne's always on me about like just the other day at the meetup, I was talking to her about how I was thinking starting a baseball channel,
and I said no
would be a good idea.
Nope.
And a football channel as well, because I've got baseball and football jerseys.
So
I've got so many baseball jerseys. I've got like about 20 of them.
Oh my gosh.
So I can absolutely get baseball going. I've got empty racks that we could have a baseball set.
No.
That'd be great.
Hey, there's empty racks, but that doesn't mean there's room for racks to be then filled with jerseys. No.
Baseball.
Veto.
Baseball.
I really don't like baseball.
I can subscribe to the Major League Baseball.
I like baseball less than I like football, and that's saying something.
But there's only 162 games in a season.
Right.
So I know the A's won't be winning the World Series, but at least it looks like they're not going to set a record for the fewest wins in a season, which it looked like they were going to. It's almost as if they're saying, we're going to be awful until you let us move to Las Vegas.
MLB trade deal, August 1st. Who will you bid for it?
So apparently, and I got a kick out of this, it looks like the San Diego Padres, which are my team, are going to be selling at the deadline, and there's some big names that could potentially be on the move, including Snell. I'm not surprised. I know a couple years ago I had people saying, oh, San Diego's going to be good. You know, they could win a World Series. And my answer was no. Teams they cheer for generally don't win. So I look forward to the deadline when San Diego sells off veterans and picks up kids and draft picks and more mediocrity for me as a Padres fan.
Do you think the Bruins are getting a center?
They have to. They're going to do one of two things. Either they're going to go into this season with what they have and then try to pick up a center at some point this year, or maybe there's an option within the organization. But yeah, Boston, you're not going to replace Bergeron. You're not going to replace Krejci. So they need to make sure they're not looking like they're trying to replace Bergeron or Krejci as they were, just adding to center depth. I really don't know what they're going to do because there isn't really a number one center involved or available, I should say, that won't cost them an arm and a leg to pick up.
I think baseball is dying. It feels like it's not as popular here in Boston like it used to be 10 to 15 years ago.
It's definitely dropped in popularity, and that's why they're changing the rules. That's why they're speeding the game up. That's why they're trying to speed the game up.
It is a very boring sport to watch.
It is. And I know there's people upset because the pitch count runs out. And so if the pitcher doesn't get the pitch across in time, oh well. And if the batter's not ready, it counts as a strike.
Right.
And so there's people upset with what this is going to do to strike and walking numbers, but it doesn't matter if the sport dies. So they're doing what they can. I disagree with some of what they like automatically putting a runner on second base. That's stupid. But, you know, they've got to do what they got to do because, yeah, they're definitely falling behind.
Golf is the most boring. That would be true. Yeah, I can't watch golf.
I find golf relaxing more than boring.
No, I can't.
I do. I enjoy golf. I still think if you and I had a set of clubs and went out and played it, I think you'd enjoy it.
Playing it would be totally different than watching it.
But I think you'd enjoy watching it more if you'd played it.
I don't think I would. I really don't.
Don't you enjoy watching mini golf though?
No.
We should find some mini golf.
No, but I don't like watching most things, people doing something. That's not fun to me. I don't get the kids watching people play video games. I don't get that. I don't like watching people play poker I don't.
I'm a YouTuber.
I know.
You're saying here is basically.
I don't watch a bunch of YouTubers, Shannon. You already know I don't watch your videos. I don't have enough of an attention span for this. That's not the same. I do. I'm just messing with them.
So
I do watch YouTube videos of people doing that. For
people following along at home.
I like.
Well, I just said I'm redundant.
I did not. I don't watch you playing video games. I don't watch
you should
doing things.
The kids think it's hilarious watching me play video
know
games.
they do, but I don't like watching people do that.
When it's death truck time, the kids like watching me do the death truck.
Golf, it's a lot of walking, so you're just watching them walk around and such. I know there's the ball and the club, and I know that
it's well edited. You're not watching them walk around the course.
To me, it's so boring. I don't know. That's why I really only like watching hockey. They're actually doing stuff the whole time. They're playing the game.
See, I enjoy watching tennis.
Tennis isn't too bad, tennis. But yeah, most of the stuff.
Especially when it's one of those back and forth matchups at the U.S. Open, and it's going for like 4 hours. Just awesome. There's the 1 year Jimmy Connors had that last hurrah at the U.S. Open. It was one of my favorite tournaments I ever watched.
San Diego NHL or Baltimore or Saskatchewan Blues?
Man, the Saskatchewan Blues. You know that the almost moving to Saskatoon thing. At some point, I have to do a video this summer talking about how the NHL vetoed the move to St. Louis. I've already moved from St. Louis to Saskatoon. I've done videos on it in the past, so. Maybe it'll be like a list style video, but yeah, we were that close to the Saskatchewan Blues.
What happens to Tatar?
Yeah. Yep.
I know he didn't hit the numbers he needed to, but I liked him on New Jersey a lot.
I think Tatar ends up getting a professional tryout, and I think he'll make the roster for whatever team gives him a tryout. I get the feeling that usually when it's a veteran that scored well the year before, GMs are concerned. Well, there's three things. One, there's teams that are right near the cap that might give him a chance. Two, teams might be concerned with his age about regression, and there also might be maybe they're concerned with skating. So those are three things that might have caused him to stay on the market.
I do see there are people that do actually agree with me. There are also people that think that golf would be fun to play but not watch. That makes sense to me. And there's other people that also think that watching people play video games is boring. It's not just me.
It depends on the game.
I don't understand it, but I know like everybody else in this house likes to watch people play video games.
Some games are fun to watch people play, and some games are not. When it's the scary games, when it's somebody that you know is really jumpy playing a game that's got jump scares, it's really funny. It is a really funny experience. It made Tobuscus tons of money, and all he would do is just scream and yell because he'd get scared in a video game, and it worked.
Shannon's being bullied on his own channel. And the pain, genuine pain in Shannon's face.
Hi.
Shannon knows that the two of us think very differently. There are areas that we are very, very different.
I'm not picking you up right now. But I'm
Insane
right
McDavid is 150 from 1,000 this year, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. He had 153 this past season. Yeah. Watch him.
That's when teammates start helping him get
like 30 points in the first 12 games, something in that nature, and it's just going to be a matter of when during the season more than anything. I would not be surprised to see him at 150 points again.
I do dislike basketball too. That's for that one. It's boring because they just score so much, and yeah.
See, I don't mind basketball.
I guess it takes a lot to entertain me or hold my interest. Yeah, that's probably it. It takes more to hold my interest. I'd rather be doing something myself than watching something that's not interesting.
Well, how many times do you just kind of elbow me and tell me to do something and be entertained? And then if I'm not entertaining enough, you just elbow me off the bed and go hockey. Go do something. If you're not going to entertain me, go make some money. So,
Mrs. Hockey Guy needs to come to a Jets game this year. Oh, I wish. The Jets games are always, when they come to Vancouver, they're always really expensive. And during one of the really busy hockey nights. So I think the last time I got to go to a Jets game was in 2019.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. That was a great game.
It was fun for you.
It was so fun. And I wore my Jets stuff, and we were kind of in an area where
Blaine had a hat trick. He had 4 that night.
Yeah, it was fun. That was a fun game. But we were in like a little area where there were a few Jets fans right around us.
I was less enthusiastic about that game.
That was a fun one.
Kind of a frustrating one as a Canucks fan.
But yeah, they're like always on Saturdays here, which are way too busy of hockey days for us to go to a hockey game.
Yeah, I tried. Years back I tried going to games on Saturdays, but it doesn't work.
Especially this year. There's even more games on most Saturdays.
Yeah, and because I have to do the recap, preview, and I have to do the power rankings, it just doesn't work on a Saturday night.
In your opinion, where will Erik Karlsson end up?
I think Pittsburgh has the most desire to pick him up between both general manager as well as the players, but they're going to need to have a third team involved. But I think Pittsburgh's the most likely spot.
I don't mind watching soccer.
She was watching some of the women's.
Yeah, I don't mind soccer. I do prefer hockey. I do also like watching curling. Curling I find entertaining. But I really What? Why are you doing that?
Because I don't know that I've heard curling and entertaining in the same sentence before. I watch curling. I do. I watch curling. Just for the screaming of hurry, hurry, hard, whoa, way off, way off. All the screaming and yelling is absolutely great. So if I ever actually go curling, I know what to say. I'd be lousy at it, but at least I know what to say.
I have always wanted to go play curling, and we have a curling
club
arena here. Yeah, I have wanted to do that for so many years because I thought that would be really fun.
Oh, absolutely.
When I was little, I made pretend curling with rocks in my driveway because I'm a dork like that. But
did you get those ones, Susie?
Are you guys going to a Kraken game in the coming years? We really want to.
It likely won't be this season.
It's really difficult because we'd have to stay the night in Seattle, and so children and everything.
And it would have to be a really quiet day in the NHL, which means it'd have to be during the week, which is just it's not.
Again,
it doesn't
children.
Really work.
We really want to be able to, though.
So I'm going to 4 Canucks games this year, but for me to go to a hockey game, there will be 4 or less NHL games on. Because I don't want to come home and have like 10 games that I have to do up 3 boards and, do the recap that way. It doesn't work.
If Vancouver got a second NHL team, where would they play? In the city or somewhere like Burnaby, Surrey, or Coquitlam?
Oh, from a traffic perspective, I really don't know how you'd make that work.
I don't know how you'd have enough people to go to both teams.
Well, I mean, there's and then there's the problem too of I don't
probably do it though.
But the arena the Giants play out of isn't big enough for an NHL team. I don't think we have another arena. And I think if they put another team in BC, unless you could figure out a way to make it work in the interior and out of Kelowna, I don't see how it would work.
Yeah, there definitely aren't any other arenas that are large enough. Like
there's not enough parking in Vancouver
fans, but there's. I'm trying to think. It's not
because you need the parking too.
I don't remember if I think it's considered Surrey. There's a new-ish arena. I think they built it like 10 years ago, but I don't know. It's probably not much bigger than the one in Langley, though. So
probably smaller than what we have here.
Yeah, likely. Okay. A few years back, you had to explain to Yvonne why Pop-Tarts are actually indeed good. Oh, no, so gross. Has she warmed up on them since your explanation? No, I still think they taste like cardboard.
Sugary cardboard.
Like super duper sugar cardboard. If you took cardboard and then just like slathered on royal icing and then let it harden, that's what a Pop-Tart tastes like.
That sounds delicious. I should order Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, so gross.
Would you like some Pop-Tarts?
No, we have
like
enough
even
cardboard.
Blueberry flavored. You'd like the blueberry ones?
No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. No.
Maybe you just haven't had somebody make them.
Whatever.
Right.
You know how many people do? Oh, maybe you just didn't have the right one, or maybe you didn't have it cooked right. No, it's still gross.
Do you know what? I'll bet you there's a really good
eggs and hot dogs. They're all gross.
I will bet you there's a really good home recipe to make your own.
Well, yeah, because then they're little hand pies.
Well, no, they're not hand pies. Those are pizza pops are like hand pies. But Pop-Tarts are something completely different. It has to be flat. Basically smaller in width than your phone. Otherwise, it's not a Pop-Tart. And then it's sacrilege at that point.
Are you done?
Probably.
Okay, cool.
I might keep going though. At my age, you
Shannon,
never know.
Love your channel and commitment. Assuming Bedard pans out as expected and he has help, when do you think the Hawks reach contention?
They're at least a couple years away from any kind of contention. The good news is next summer, the cap's supposed to go up by a minimum of $4 million. They're going to have a lot of cap space. And I think Chicago is going to be an attractive destination if Bedard puts up 80 points. Even if he just puts up 80 points as a rookie, there's going to be players who are like, I kind of want to go and play with Bedard. And so, yeah, I would expect Chicago to get better. Probably 2 years away from contending for a playoff spot.
When does the new Flyers jersey go on sale?
Okay, so I know the new Ducks 30th. They're looking at a December date when that's going to be available at the retail level. I'm guessing the Flyers is going to be similar. Maybe October. I haven't heard anything from Ben. I know he's supposed to get some jerseys in September, but I don't know if that's going to include the new design for the Flyers. I know that the white jerseys that they haven't been producing this year, they're supposed to have white jerseys available for all teams, which is something I don't really quite understand why they stopped making white jerseys for everybody at the retail level. But yeah, I would expect probably in the October, November range for the new Flyers ones, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's as far as December.
Chances of catching Shannon at a Tim's in Abbotsford on August 19th, not likely, because that's the day we get back from our holiday and we fly into Seattle, so we have to do the drive to Abbotsford.
I don't really go to Tim's.
So that's right, I do.
Yeah, she's more of the Timmy's person.
Well, and then I drive there and then I bring it home for everybody else. That's generally how that works. Yeah. I drive and pick up. That's my job. Yeah. I'm the taxi and the chauffeur and that's my job in this house. So yeah, but the 19th is the day that we get home.
She's my favorite assistant though. She's been great. I mean, there's moments like
sometimes you pick the cat. So
you did blow it during the street hockey game when I had that really nice backhand goal. Probably the prettiest goal I've ever scored in a street hockey game. She wasn't even looking. So it's not just a matter of her not taking the video. She wasn't even looking. I backhanded it top shelf. I've never done that. Well, I've done it, but not since I was young. And so I was like, yeah, cool. Oh, she's not even looking. What? Why even bother? Why it's not even looking?
I have 3 kids too. And it feels like the same thing. Mom, did you see me? Mom, did you see what I just did? Mom, did you catch that? And sometimes it is, did you get that on picture? Did you get a picture?
I actually smacked my stick on the pavement. I was like, are you serious? So I have to watch too. I just finished watching Shorzy's first season again. So I got to make sure no salty language comes out of me right now. There's some salty language on Shorzy, but man, that show it's got hockey down. It's so good. The gyms are beauties. All 3 gyms are absolutely fantastic.
Should the Sharks make an offer on Lafreniere?
I don't. From what I've heard, the Rangers haven't made Lafreniere available. And I don't see any reason why they necessarily would, because they're not going to get back full value for Lafreniere at this point. I think they're better off holding on to him. And so I still like him. I think that kid line's been really effective for the Rangers. I think you give it one more year with Kakko and Lafreniere. And then if it doesn't work out, then one or the other probably gets moved.
Stop harassing the assistant. Oh, and Shannon, it sounds like workplace harassment.
I mean, I can't do your job for you, but there's times where it feels like
okay. We've not been to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
That's in Toronto. So, nope.
Yeah, we have not been Toronto.
We have not been to Toronto.
Not at all. It would be awesome, but hi Shannon, just got married on Friday. Congratulations. What advice do you have?
Communication's number one most important thing. Brutal honesty too. before her and I met.
I wouldn't word it like that, but
I would. I think it's important to make sure that you're telling a person the truth and not like a sunshiny version of it.
version, right?
And that you keep that open. So when things happen, it's very easy to go down that path of, well, I don't want to upset her, so I'm not going to mention this, or for her be, well, it'll upset him, so I don't want to say, but fight through it and do it, because otherwise it leads to miscommunication or going to other people. Being in a situation where I've got a problem, I'm going to talk to my buddy rather than my significant other, and then it can just lead to a big chasm between the two.
Yeah.
And then there's too much communication. You really have to avoid that. So what I do is sometimes I just put my head under the pillow while she's speaking, just slowly, just casually, just putting the pillow over my head.
He does not.
I might turn the TV off while she's discussing things and then turn the light off. And then if she still doesn't understand, I'll pull the blinds. And then eventually I'll get a sleep mask and put it over her face. I'll be like, it looks like you need a sleep mask. Here you go. We have too much communication right now.
He does no such thing.
So.
You're such a dork. Oh my gosh. Okay, thoughts on the 30 for 30 on the Vancouver riots?
I haven't watched it. I mean, we kind of lived through it here, so it was ugly, and then nobody was actually prosecuted for the longest time for it, and it just, I mean, it was a black mark on the city and on the franchise, sadly, and it's something that, the weird part is it happened in 94 as well, but 2011 overshadowed 94, and it's just that minority amongst fans that decide they're going to go out and cause trouble, give the rest of fans a bad reputation. That's why when people say, name the fan base you hate the most. Well, no, because sure, there are certain fans of certain teams that I may not have got along with, may not have liked, but it doesn't mean that the entire fan base is a problem. And same with the channel. It doesn't mean that the entire fan base is an issue.
Tampa Bay helmet logo reminds me of your old channel logo.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to picture this.
That's trying to think of what it. I can't remember the lettering, but like the ad on the helmet.
Oh, okay. You'll have to show me then. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you responded. Has Ovechkin and Crosby's championship windows have closed, and now the younger players taking over the league?
I do think that the window is closed. Once the team has won a championship and then they back out of the playoffs, as both Washington and Pittsburgh have, it is rare for a team to then jump back into contention. It's happened, but it's rare. They're both amongst the older squads in the NHL. Clearly, the general managers want to squeeze out one more championship, but it does appear that the window's closed, likely on both.
Thoughts on NCAA hockey for the upcoming season?
I don't follow the NCAA hockey nearly as much as I would if I was south of the border. We really don't get the NCAA hockey up here. It's mostly CHL that's shown on TV up here. NCAA games don't get carried by TSN or Sportsnet, so it's harder to find. But it's good hockey. It's very good hockey, and the national team development program they've got in the U.S. is fantastic. So there's some really good hockey coming out of there.
Oh,
why? What do you think?
I wasn't listening to a thing you said. I missed a super chat.
Did you?
Hold on. Let me look.
Okay, she's going to check.
No, I got
you got that one. You got that one. You got that one. You got that one.
Yep, I think I don't see one that I missed. I don't see one.
Were those ones you already got?
These were, yeah.
Yeah, you got that one.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay. Do you think the Rangers window is closing?
No. The Rangers have a lot of good young players. Shesterkin's young, coming into his own. It's a good blue line there. Still a lot of good young forwards. I think they're going to be contending for a while.
Would you agree that Chiarelli should have done more to make the Oilers competitive with McDavid and Draisaitl on their ELCs? I feel like he fumbled the opportunity.
Chiarelli gets a lot of flack, and I understand why. I think that he was good at negotiating contracts. I think really where he dropped the ball was on trades. There were too many trades he made that just haunted him. And especially, in that period where Draisaitl and McDavid have just come into the league. Yeah, those trades weren't great. And that's really kind of the legacy of Chiarelli and Edmonton.
Okay, I see the person that I missed your super chat. If you put it in again, then I'll be able to see it, and then I can read it. Because I couldn't find one that I missed.
She's legally blind in 14 states. So.
What?
Oh, it's 15, including Hawaii. Yeah, 15.
What are you even talking about?
She's legally blind.
Dork, I am not.
It's great, though, because we get all the best parking spots. Somehow you're allowed to drive.
What?
I don't know why why is that? I don't know. It's weird.
Shannon, oh my gosh.
We've got these sensors on our vehicle that tell her, stop it, stop. Just a voice will just yell, stop.
We don't have...
Go.
My minivan is not that fancy. Such a dork. Okay. I can't pronounce that. Bunting, the right pickup for the Canes?
Oh, yeah. Bunting will be fine. The one thing for Bunting is he's got to clean up his act around the officials a little bit. He was drawing penalties during last season until he wasn't. And it got to a ridiculous extreme the other way. So as long as he has a good rep with the officials to start the season, I think Carolina fans will be happy with him.
My mom says blindness is genetic and the shortiness.
Oh, you're definitely genetically short.
Thanks. But then I had two giants of children.
If Rangers let Laffy go, I will start a mostly peaceful protest as a fan. And I agree. Lafreniere is still a good and young player. He was only drafted 3 years ago. He's a very young player, and there's plenty of time. And I think he's playing well. Just the numbers offensively haven't been where they were expected to be.
Why do you think the Blackhawks traded Kirby Dach so early in his career?
When you see somebody get traded so young, it is odd. It is an oddity. I haven't heard anything about why the Hawks moved him, but either they felt that the offer was too good to pass up that was given to them by the Montreal Canadiens, or he just wasn't in their vision for what they wanted the Hawks to be later on, and maybe they felt like his value was the highest it was going to be. I think he's fit in well with Montreal when healthy, and I like Kirby Dach, but Chicago wanted to go another direction.
Great job on the summer videos. Love the lists.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, there'll definitely be more lists over the upcoming weeks.
Do y'all like the band Fish?
Yvonne does.
I don't mind them.
She's into some music that's not as rock and hard rock and all
there
that.
Are a few bands that I listen to that aren't metal. Yes.
Tim McGraw, Carrie Underwood.
No.
Kidding. Not
that
country.
Is not country. True.
Right.
Definitely not.
Right.
Oh, good night, Mom.
What?
My mom says
it's not even 5 o'clock at night.
She's old and she goes to bed really early.
Like, is it a cryogenic chamber or like if you're going to bed that early?
Because she can.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would probably start doing that myself.
Do you guys like the Scorpions? Nope.
Yes. Winds of Change was one that I felt was overplayed. The Zoo. The Zoo is my favorite song from Scorpions. And Rammstein, when they became big, I remember Richard saying he felt like Rammstein became a big deal because people were tired of the Scorpions.
Listens to Taylor Swift too. We really bond over it. Right. Right.
I watched a video about Taylor Swift last night. Style Theory has one on how Taylor Swift's entire career is about what clothes she wears, and it makes some sense. So the Eras tour is more about what she wears, and it actually made a lot of sense.
Yvonne and Shannon like hideous music. I bet you can guess who posted that.
Oh, I know. Music's great. Hailstorm is just. If anybody knows where Lizzie Hale's going to be playing, and if it's going to be near where I am, passing along that information would be great, because I saw her in concert last week. That's really not enough. That was over way too fast. So I definitely need to hear some more Hailstorm.
Do you bet on sports?
Never. The last time that I bet on a sporting event would have been 1986. The World Series between the New York Mets and the Boston Red Sox, and I lost that bet, and I never bet on sports since. I mean, there was a pool back in 2015 where you put $20 in and you get a random team assigned to you that could win the Stanley Cup. That's, I guess that qualifies as gambling, but I had no control over which team I got.
Did Shannon score any goals playing street hockey? Yep, he usually does score at least a goal when we play street hockey. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I had one. Yesterday. I had one. This week wasn't my favorite week that I've had. So I don't know. I may go out and play again this Saturday. So, although Yvonne's going to tell me we're too busy this weekend, there's no time.
We definitely are too busy this weekend.
I'm just going to have to get a stick and ball out and play by myself, I guess.
You could definitely get the neighbor kids to play with you. They would be thrilled if somebody else went out and played with them. So they would be thrilled.
I guess I can invite guys over here.
No, we're not inviting people to our house. Nope.
I guess we could.
No. We're leaving it to. We live in Abbotsford, and that's the extent of that.
Could we just convert the rec room to being like a floor hockey room?
That would be a tiny.
We could play in there.
That would be a small.
Well, we could just do the mini sticks then. I think that would work. So I'll work on her. I'll get it done. I did hear that Swift fans created an earthquake in Seattle. I did hear about that.
Yep. Was there a time before you were metal fans? What did you listen to?
Top 40. I used to listen to Casey Kasem every week.
I did too.
I had my own chart.
I was pretty little. I started listening to metal when I was 15.
See, I listened to hair metal, 15, but it wasn't metal.
I really got into it when I was about 16, 17. And I've really stuck to that.
The first metal song that I really, really liked, and you're not going to think it's metal, is Turn Up the Radio by Autograph. That was the first time I heard like a hard rock metal song, unless you count Slade with Run Run Away as a metal song, but that one's kind of iffy too. So, but Slade's Run Run Away is a great song.
Hailstorm will be in Quebec tomorrow. Get going. Yeah, because we were their first Canadian one, and then they were just going east.
Lizzie is just, I got chills the whole time she was singing. I had a grin on my face the whole time. She saw that. I just, it was ridiculous. Her voice is perfect.
Shannon's done videos on where he gets his jerseys. So that's the answer to that.
I'm doing the collection videos now. And with a lot of the jerseys, I say where I got them. So with the jersey collection videos, there's each video I'm basically, and I got this one here or this one here. The tricky part is a lot of the CCMs and Reeboks are getting very, very difficult to find because they're not making them anymore.
Were you both a fan of punk, ska, reggae bands at all? I was, yeah.
No. Some of the punk stuff, absolutely, but ska and reggae, I had a very brief
I liked
very brief ska, moment where 50
definitely listened to punk.
Where UB40 was a band that I was okay with because Red Red Wine, and then they did I Can't Help Falling in Love. But in general, no. Does the Police count? like their Roxanne era and all that. I guess they would count.
Maybe.
And I did have a couple of cassettes. Cassettes were this physical form of music that existed before CDs. CDs were a physical form of music that we used before MP3s. MP3s were a digital form that you'd download. That was the thing we had before streaming, and cassettes replaced records, which have come back, and I don't need to explain to any of the youngins watching this.
Oh, you skipped 8 tracks.
No, it's the less said about 8 tracks, the better. I still to this day don't understand 8 tracks.
I drove a car with an 8-track player.
My dad had an 8-track player. I could never understand him. Like, so I pushed this button.
It was connected to my record player.
I push this button and I go into the middle of the next song. Why do the buttons take me to the middle of the songs? Why is this the so yeah, 8 tracks never made any sense to me.
Queen's great.
Queen's fantastic.
I really, really like Queen. What's the Bruins' plan with their 2 number 1 goalies?
They're going to wait and see what the arbitrator rules with Swayman. Swayman wanted $4.8 million. The Bruins do not have anywhere near that amount of money. Trent Frederick's going through the arbitration process today. And so the Bruins are going to have to make some decisions once those cases are done and we know the amount. The Bruins are likely going to have to shed more money. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. I really hope they can hold on to both Swayman and Ullmark, but anything's possible with the salary cap era.
Grunge, Nirvana.
She liked Nirvana.
I definitely did listen to some grunge.
I had Pearl Jam's 10. I listened to that.
But I was in high school in the 90s, so
I liked some Soundgarden. And Faith No More got lumped in with grunge, but Faith No More wasn't really grunge, just from that same era. Faith No More to this day, I would love to see live. The problem is somebody doesn't like Faith No More. She's not a fan. But yeah, Midlife Crisis by Faith No More. Last Cup of Sorrow. Oh, that song is so good. How can you not like Last Cup of Sorrow? That song is fantastic. It's crazy.
Cassettes were handy for the time, but I totally skipped something about they didn't miss them. Agreed.
I had so many cassettes that I would hear that noise. I got so good at hearing when it was starting to be eaten,
when it was going to eat it,
that I could get the cassette out. The problem is then you've got a little fold in it, and that wrinkle means it's always going to try to eat it.
Fold or it'd get twisted.
So you'd have to take a pencil and try to smooth it out, but not too much because you don't want to actually hurt the music on it and make it so it won't play properly. Cassettes were an absolute nightmare.
It keeps skipping around.
If you had a cassette that was more than 60 minutes long, it might be too heavy for the actual tape player. I had ones that were too heavy, so they sounded like crap.
That.
I did. I had a couple that were like that it just wouldn't play right.
I don't remember that.
It was a nightmare.
What match are you guys looking forward to the most at SummerSlam this weekend? For me, it's a toss-up between Cody and Brock and Roman and Jay and Drew and Gunther.
I'm anxious to see what they're gonna do with Rhea Ripley against she's against Raquel, isn't she? Or no, is Raquel hurt? I think it's Raquel versus Rhea. And just in general with both women's titles, because it feels like in the Asuka defense that she's completely forgotten. So I'm interested to see how they play that. But yes, Jay versus Roman is going to be absolute drama. Yvonne's anxious to watch it. She's like, she's been on about SummerSlam a lot. I've had to kind of tell her to calm down a little bit about it. But it's 4 hours this weekend. If you would like to watch SummerSlam with me, 4 hours
to spare.
I may do a live stream on the other channel during SummerSlam. I haven't decided yet, but I might.
Grew up on Green Day, Nirvana, Beastie Boys, Cypress Hill, Rancid, Less Than Jake, MX, PX, Pennywise, Bad Religion, No Use for a Name, Newfound Glory, Real Big Fish.
I had a CD for Cypress Hill. I loved Cypress Hill. And Beastie Boys. I love Beastie Boys. Some of their songs I like better than others, but they're good. I know you love Green Day.
I didn't mind Bad Religion. Real Big Fish are great. I was telling Gabriel about Real Big Fish just the other day.
See, and then there's Great Big Sea.
Yep.
Great Big Sea is fantastic.
Yep, and I told him about them too.
Because Newfoundlanders.
What about White Snake?
I love White Snake. I made her listen to Slide It In a couple weeks ago. I even sang along with it.
He sure did.
The song is so ridiculous. It's so good and so ridiculous.
It's not so good.
And then Is It Love was on the other night too, so I made you watch the video for that. Is This Love? Yeah, Tawny Katane. She was in a bunch of White Snake videos back then.
Who's your favorite hockey player from the 1970s era? And why?
Oh, from the 70s. See, I didn't start watching hockey until 1981. If I had watched hockey, it would have been Bobby Orr. I know it would have been Bobby Orr. I've no doubt in my mind. Just from highlight reel packages, just from everything I've heard. I would have ended up being a Bruins fan anyways, because I would have been rooting for Bobby Orr, which would have led to some kerfuffles in my house because my dad being a big Habs fan and all.
Have you watched the Cody Rhodes documentary yet?
Not yet.
I can see Shannon rocking the Beastie Boys on his own.
Yep.
Discord, please. I don't understand what the question is.
There's a link to the Discord in the description to this live stream. There's a link to our Discord.
I missed a super chat. Okay, hold on. Oh, look, it was skipping around. Oh, there's that one. As a 90s kid, I kept all my cassettes just to remember my childhood.
I had an actual suitcase of my cassettes, and I would rearrange them, and then my favorite to my least favorite. Of course you did. I had my suitcase.
Oh, there it is. Of course you did. Of course you did.
I love my cassettes.
I know. I did too. I had mine. I don't even know what happened to mine.
I don't know where they went. I was so excited to have 3 Madonna cassettes. And then after that, I didn't like her stuff anymore.
Would you do the EK65 trade if you were the Pens GM?
If you're not sacrificing too much cap space, if you're able to get teams to retain cap, whether it's San Jose or a third party, I think Karlsson could be huge. The problem is Pittsburgh, we know, have had problems with keeping the puck out of their net at times. And while Karlsson isn't a net negative defensively, he's not a huge net positive defensively either. So, yeah, I would trade for Karlsson, but I'd be guarded if I was Kyle Dubas about doing that.
Were you at the game the Golden Knights won the championship?
How would I be at the game?
No.
I was here doing the recap right after. That would have been, I'd have to teleport. No. I would have had to teleport back here.
Those would be expensive tickets, and that's nowhere near our house. Yeah.
So I got Azrael here. Shadows.
That'd be really expensive. Yeah, we can't just travel like that. It doesn't work. We have 3 kids, and nah. I mean, that'd be awesome, but
if I could teleport.
Happy 2-year anniversary, Bear.
Oh, she's down here. Yeah, Bear's down on the floor.
There you go.
Oh, I was looking for her because I saw that.
2 years.
Straight down here.
I don't think she cares. Sorry.
No, sadly, no. Yes, you.
Oh, she looked.
Because she heard her name. She knows her name.
Hi. Thanks for not being like most YouTube channels with plugging random products in your videos. Appreciate the time and effort you put into your videos.
Yeah, we definitely get a lot of
oh my gosh, so many emails. So many emails.
My favorite is hello, the hockey guy.
Yes.
We like your videos.
I was especially watching. It'll be some random video.
A recap or a preview, and it's like you're not. You don't even know what you're doing.
We'd like you to test out this beard oil. Wait, what? So you watched the video? Or makeup brand. We get a lot of the Shave Club and VPNs.
Oh,
so many.
See, and now that she's mentioned it, games. Now that you've mentioned it live stream, we will get more.
This. We need to email them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we go on so many vacations?
We do 2 a year.
We go on 1 in the summer when we don't have our children, because my daughter goes with her dad for 2 weeks, and then the boys are 16 and 18. So we go on our summer holiday together, and then we do a holiday with the kids as well. And that's not even every year. I don't think that's so many.
No. And I didn't have a holiday out. I hadn't left Chilliwack in over 10 years before I met Yvonne. So I kind of feel like, I'm in my 50s now. So if I'm going to do traveling, I should do it now. So,
Right.
and it's the way I've put it too is it's like, some families, they go and they do like weekend getaways and camping, and I'm not really that type. So,
Right.
two vacations instead.
Right.
It's
And
really
it's
not that
not like
much.
we have all of the family to go visit or anything like
No.
that people do. We don't have that.
No.
So
So it's it's
we
again,
both really just have our moms and they live locally.
and
So
I spent so many years being broke and stuck at home, years and years and years. So if I can travel, I'm going to travel, and we plan it months in advance. So yeah.
there you go. I hate the shootout in hockey because I think it destroys the momentum of the game. What would you do to make the overtime better?
I think that if they expanded the overtime to 8 minutes, I think that would solve a lot of them. I think we'd see a far, far, far fewer of the shootouts because teams would just get exhausted. The problem is the NHLPA has to sign off on that, and from what's been said, it doesn't sound like the NHLPA is too gung ho on adding a few more minutes to overtime because there are a lot of games that go to overtime. So the NHLPA is going to have to sign off on it, whatever they do to fix it.
Have you thought about going to Buffalo for a game?
Well,
That would be a really,
that's all the way
really
across the continent.
long drive.
So it's another country and it's all the way across the continent. It is not easy to do that kind of thing. I'd be willing to give it a try, but again, it would be what 3,000. I would imagine $3,000 between hotel, while I'm there, and then the flights and everything.
And again, we have
it'd be
3
pricey,
kids.
right? And I'm just thinking like, and that might just cover me if it was like $3,000. Yeah, it'd be really expensive.
When I bought my first record in very late 2019, I didn't anticipate how addicting collecting them was. I now have a collection of over 30.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
I know collecting, and that's something I've always said. I prefer to have a physical copy of whatever media, whether it's movie, TV, whatever. If I can get a physical copy, I like to have that. Because there was a time where the internet would go down and you might be without internet for days. That used to be a thing. You'd be like, well, the internet's broken. Shaw's coming out to fix it in 2 days. Well, I guess we're watching DVDs and, playing video games on the computer that don't require an internet connection. Of course, now that's really, kids panic now if the internet's down for half an hour.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear me was it Gabriel on Saturday? That holy moly, you guys are way too used to be able to get everything right then. They never have to wait ever for anything.
Yep.
Even like buying something. Mom, I would like this right now. No. Sorry, you have to wait sometimes. Guys are way too used to never having to wait.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's the internet generation.
Yeah, it's like you don't think about it too much until like kids say something. You're like, you're used to this.
Yep.
I'm still not.
Yep.
Is Shadow 10 years old already?
He is. Shadow's 10. So that means Bear's 10 as well. Pixel's 9. Azrael here, she's a year old, and her sister Maple's somewhere in the house. She's a year old as well.
She's probably still upstairs.
Likely.
Subscribed when I saw Bear. I have a cat that looks a lot like Bear. Aww.
She's a sweet cat. She's very shy, but she's a very sweet cat. Too sweet, actually. She won't actually smack this one when she needs to. If she would smack this one would bother her a lot less, but she won't do it. So
Marc-Andre Fleury is 15 games away from playing his 1,000th in the NHL and only the 4th goalie to do so. Assuming he gets there, do you think you could do a video talking on why it's so rare for the goalies to hit that mark?
Oh, absolutely. And we may get to a point where for a goalie to hit 1,000 games, it may be almost impossible. Because it does feel like the workhorse goaltender playing 60 plus games is going the way of the dodo. So we'll see fewer games being played by goalies, I would think, over the coming years.
In Spain, they call them Generation Now. That really, really fits. Yes. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
With my son, I think it was on Saturday, it was explaining to him, he's so used to, if you are wanting something, that you can either go to the store,
just go grab it,
or you can go on to Amazon and it'll be at our house like the next day or the day after.
Yeah.
And explaining to him that I'm not just going to go on Amazon to buy something. I will go to a store, but I'm not doing it right now. I have other things I have to do. I'm not driving 15 minutes to go to the store, get it, and then driving 15 minutes back.
But
I have other things too. But Mom, I would really like, cool.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait. Yeah. I'm not doing it.
I went years asking for Levi's jeans that I never got. So I don't feel bad. Because I'd be like, Mom, I need jeans. Can I have Levi's? And she'd be like, well, I don't know if I can afford Levi's. I'm like, okay, Mom, seriously, don't do what I think you're going to do. And then she bring home the Kmart jeans. Like, don't bring home Kmart jeans. You're going to get me punched in the head. I need a Levi's. Please get me Levi's.
When is THG book talk reading taking place?
No. Although I will say this. Don't be surprised when I start doing TikTok videos again if I'm talking about books, hockey books. Not hockey romance books, but hockey books.
I had no idea there was such a thing. But
I didn't know it was a subgenre either. I had no idea.
I guess I'm not surprised. I have no idea. I feel so sheltered now.
But it's clear now that with social media,
I had never heard of book talk.
You've got completely different societies that are being created on the internet. So, yeah.
Because people are able to make their own little communities online with like-minded people.
You can have 1 million followers,
which is kind of cool.
Heard of you. So, yeah.
Hello, what do you think of the Leafs so far?
I think the Leafs have had a good offseason. Depth was the problem, and depth remains the problem. Everybody focuses on the big four, which is fine, but you have to get scoring outside of the big four. Most teams, when they win a Stanley Cup, not every single star player puts up great stats. It's about playing as a team, and for Toronto, they need that depth. So I think that adding Bertuzzi, adding Domi helps. We'll see what Reeves does for them in the locker room as well, but I like what they've done so far.
Greetings from Finland. If I go to the U.S., what city do you recommend visiting to watch a Caps road game?
I mean, if you wanted to watch it without spending a lot of money, Anaheim games are usually relatively low cost. Buffalo usually doesn't have great attendance over the last couple of years. I would think tickets in Buffalo would probably be relatively cheap. My advice would be to go onto the team sites and go into where you're buying tickets and just look and see, because every team, the ticket prices are quite different and fluctuate wildly.
And so each team, it depends on what team they're playing to. So make sure you're checking the cost when they're playing the Caps, not just playing any hockey game.
Yeah.
Video idea: 1 European captain of Stanley Cup champion finalist, 2 all-time. It's Game 7 of Cup final. 1 goal difference. 1 minute left. Who do you have? No offense, defense, and in goal.
In a Game 7, well, Patrick Roy's in net. Nick Lidstrom's on the blue line, and offensively, I kind of feel like Sid the Kid. I kind of feel like Sidney Crosby's the guy I'm going with down the middle. And I say that even though I grew up watching Gretzky and Lemieux, but I mean, Sid's got 3 Stanley Cup rings in the Cap era, and he's been fantastic.
Are you going to see Oppenheimer and Barbie?
We watched Barbie. We did the recap for that on the Entertainment Guy channel. Oppenheimer, I'm probably going to wait until it's on streaming. I don't intend to see that one in the theater. And I don't know if we're going to go see any other movies this summer. You want to see Elemental?
Yeah, I'm taking Adelaide and one of her friends tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think.
If you want to come with me, you can.
I mean, I want to see Talk to Me, but I think that might be a little bit intense for Yvonne. So, but I want to see Talk to Me. That one I may have to wait for streaming as well.
Let's see. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Just looking. Hi.
Weirdo.
you doing?
Anaheim is a long flight from Finland. Well,
I mean, the Atlantic Ocean's pretty big, so just flying across the ocean.
It's the same thought.
While you're flying across the ocean.
While you're at it.
While you're flying across the entire ocean.
Probably have to do a layover in either New York or when Atlanta. I did that over.
Could be going through Atlanta.
Atlanta, that's where one of ours was through.
So, I mean, there's Florida, too. The Florida Panthers, you might be able to get a decent price ticket, though we know they went to the final. Their attendance is up. Ticket prices are probably higher as well.
Oh, somebody asked if you were planning on doing a all 31 team arena tour.
That would be impossible. Currently, that'd be pretty impossible.
There is no financial feasibility of anything anywhere near that.
No.
Not possible. And we have 3 children.
Yeah.
We have 3 children. We can't.
Yeah. Sadly.
I mean, as awesome as that sounds, we're just people. We're a 5-person family.
With the nature of the channel too, where I follow every team and I watch as many games as possible. A tour like that just doesn't work unless I would be saying, all right, so I'm not reviewing games anymore. Would be where I'd have to go with that. I'd be like, all right, so no more reviews, no more recaps, because I'm going to the arenas, and I don't know that.
Yeah,
that would
plus
work.
Pets, 3 children plus pets, right? Yes. So when we leave the house, we have to have somebody come and take care of the animals, which is every day somebody needs to be at our house doing something for the animals.
For the cats, for the rabbits, and the guinea pigs.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if we won the lottery and we got a big family bus or something, but I think our children might kill each other.
If we won the lottery, I'd be disappointed if with millions of dollars we decide, let's go to all the arenas. What? No. We won millions. It'd be, hey, I'm a hockey guy, so now I'm on the beach here in Bermuda.
There you go.
All these jerseys are behind me. Let me know if any of them blow off. Hopefully not into the ocean. Like, yeah, that's how you'll know if I win the lottery.
Swimming.
That's how you'll know if I win the lottery, because all of a sudden the background's going to look very tropical, and I'll just be like, oh, that's a green screen. Yeah, it's a green screen, and then some guy
asking for it for years.
Some guy carrying a surfboard walks between me and the camera. Oh, that's season extra. So that's how you'll know if I win the lottery. We'll just be in Bermuda all of a sudden, or Jamaica, or something like that.
Who is the best captain? Not skill-wise, but leader-wise.
Right now, I would say Sidney Crosby's the best captain in the NHL. Yeah, he's just, as long as he's in the game from now until he's done, I would have to say he's the best captain.
You fun as Shannon a dork. What's your golf handicap?
Usually the woods. Usually I just nail it right off into the woods. I have no idea. I haven't golfed in so long. I have no idea what. Right now, my handicap at like 80. I don't know. It'd be a lot. It'd be high right now. I don't even know if I know how to hold the club anymore. I guess I kind of. But yeah, it would be ugly. It'd be days. Basically, Yvonne would be like, yeah, so I'm doing videos today because Shannon's still on the golf course. I think he's on the 15th hole. His phone died. So no idea.
Any chance the Bolts miss the playoffs this year?
I don't think Tampa Bay is going to miss the playoffs. However, things are going to get tougher for them. They're, years older and all this, and all of the extra hockey they've played with their Stanley Cup runs. It does get difficult, and then losing some of that depth due to the salary cap, it's going to be a difficult time for them.
Would you go to a Canucks playoff game?
I would. A, they'd have to make the playoffs, and B, I mean, it would depend on
$500 a ticket.
The money would be so much. It really is. I mean, the regular season games are expensive enough. Like, for instance, I wanted to go to the Flyers game, but the cheapest tickets where I like to sit are like $150. I was like, no, I'm not spending that much money to watch the Flyers and the Canucks. So I can't imagine what a playoff game would cost.
How and why did you become a Jets fan? So I always pick teams based on what goalie had the coolest helmet. So I just like the Jets logo, and I like their colors, and I like their jersey. That's it.
That's how I started liking the Flames back in the day. When I was a kid.
That's it.
I thought the C was really cool in front of the jersey. I liked the red, gold, and white. I thought they were nice. Yep. Like, all right. And Pat Regan became my favorite goalie pretty quickly. So, yeah, that's all it took.
Yep. I just like goalie helmet and the logo and the jerseys. And then I started really like the players and how they were playing. They were just fun to watch. So, there you go. Have you ever played NHL 23 or any games in the NHL franchise?
I don't have NHL 23. I had NHL 22 last year. I never did play it. Before that, I had every single NHL game dating back to NHL 2004. But, I mean, I haven't played it regularly since the channel blew up. Because if I have time to sit around and play hockey games for hours, that's time I can spend making videos and not playing video games. So, as I've gotten older, the video game, and also the video game is just, it's the same every year. So at some point, I'm just like, yeah, I've done this. I've played this. I'm kind of done with it.
Are Wild and Jets a good game, or are they boring games? Those are the best games. Jets versus Wild, that's my favorite game all season. And I get really, really irritated.
You're usually not here when they play each
other.
other.
On Friday night, because I have to drive my daughter to her dad's house, and I miss it almost every single time.
That'll get easier now.
That's true.
You'll miss less of it.
That's true. I'm excited. But yeah, that's my favorite game all year. They're always really good games, even though Minnesota has a tendency to play a very boring game against the Jets. It's not. So, will you guys come see a Canucks Vegas game in Vegas?
I wish.
I know.
We would love to do a Vegas trip around Christmas. I don't know that there's a way we can get it done.
Yeah. We've started talking about seeing if we can figure something out.
We did a Christmas Vegas trip before, and Christmas it's cheap. It's a cheap trip during Christmas.
Temperature's perfect,
and
there's barely any games.
And there's people in Vegas wearing jackets while we're wearing shorts and t-shirts, and we're excited.
I don't ever wear shorts, so that is not correct.
Sure you do.
I do not.
Yeah.
I don't
remember
even
you had
own
the shorts?
I don't even own
That was when you were
shorts.
dancing in that show. Oh, I got you confused with somebody else.
I don't wear shorts, so that did not happen. But
I thought you were the Vegas dancer, David.
Shannon. Oh my goodness.
That's awkward.
Okay. Dark. Couldn't Bolts be better after finally resting?
The rest should help, but again, they've lost. Their depth continues to erode, it seems, every year. So eventually that takes its toll. Again, it's a lot of hockey, and I do feel like Hedman has probably peaked. He's still one of the best defensemen in the league. You'll see that when the best defenseman video goes live and people get mad at it. But I still have him really near the top, but I don't have him at the top of my list now. So, yeah, we'll see how it turns out for him.
I've been to 19 arenas, but must admit Vancouver was one of the nicest cities in the NHL.
Oh, Vancouver's fantastic. Really nice. I love the arena. I think that honestly, Rogers is one of the more underrated in the league, because I personally would put it ahead of Vegas. I know everybody loves T-Mobile. I prefer the Vancouver arena, but T-Mobile is nice.
I don't like the one exit.
Yeah, the one exit thing it's quite the bottleneck coming out. I get it.
People all smushed.
Like, yes, I understand, but
well, you can't exit towards the highway, I guess, but you could, and just have the walkways that go. Whatever. Yeah. I don't like that part. Oh, I missed the super chat
again.
Given the Rangers signings and the departures of Kane, Tarasenko, and Mott again, what would you say about their distance in the playoffs next year?
The Rangers have good depth. I think that really it's a matter of they have to give the kid line more time. They've got a good blue line, and they've got Igor in the net. The Rangers are a legit contender, could win the Stanley Cup next year.
Seattle's my favorite arena.
We haven't done Seattle yet.
I know.
Seattle's supposed to be gorgeous. Everybody
brand new
talked to
too,
said it's fantastic.
So, is Shadow your favorite cat?
I'm his favorite human.
Yes, absolutely.
I think. Well, I'm the human you like.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't like other humans. This little orange cat here, she loves him so much. And a lot of the time that she'll come over to him, he just hisses at her. I'm like, can
Leave
you
me
stop being
alone.
mean? She loves you, and you're mean to her half the time.
Just leave me alone. He's a grumpy old man.
He is a grumpy old man. But
And
I have a black rabbit that's a grumpy old man,
little kid that has to follow him around.
Licorice is a grumpy old man. And I've found, too, that when Licorice is in his house, I can reach in and pet him and grab him whenever I want. Apparently, you can't.
No.
Apparently, other people can't just reach in and grab my rabbit when he's in his home. But I'm allowed. Because I tested it yesterday. I was like, I wonder if he's going to try to bite me. Nope. He just nose nudges me when I put my hand in there.
How is Avalanche prospect pool with the success?
Well, I mean, any team, when they're at the top and they're having that success, they're not going to have as many good young prospects coming in. They're likely going to be trading draft picks and prospects to stay in that position. But, I mean, for the Avs, it's a win now. So that's usually how that works. You win now, you sacrifice some of that depth in your prospect pool, and then you go through the retool, rebuild process again.
Do the Caps make the playoffs?
I don't have them in the playoffs right now, but they weren't that far out before the sale at the deadline, so it could happen.
Oh, hello.
Howdy, howdy.
27 months. Does Shadow like you or not? He puts up with me. He puts up with me. Sometimes he chooses to be around me. Every once in a while, he'll come upstairs and lay in the sewing room by me, but that's really rare, and it usually throws me off when he comes in there.
He does it to bother Pixel.
A lot of the times, though, when I go to pet him, you would think that I had beat him previously.
Yeah, he ducks away. He ducks away and looks at her like, what
he
are you
sometimes
doing?
Lays on my legs at night,
but she's still not allowed to touch him.
I still can't touch him.
No.
So he puts up with me. That's as close as that gets.
Whereas Bear legitimately likes you, but as soon as I lay down, then she's on me.
Bear prefers you, but she does really like me. Every night she lays on my chest until she decides to move to Shannon's face. Her favorite is when at night sleeping right here. That's her favorite.
And she'll just stare.
She's so happy.
There's not enough room, but if I look long enough, they'll make room for me. So it's middle of the night now. Open my eyes, and I've just got a cat's face right here.
Purring
Hi.
So loud. She's so
you gonna make some room, or am I just gonna keep purring in your face?
Come to Disney World and do a meetup in Florida, please. I want to go to Disney World.
We were gonna do Disney World, and then 2020 happened. Because I wanted to do Disneyland and then do Disney World after, and then it just all fell apart. So the trip we're taking in a couple weeks is the one we had planned for 3 years ago.
The one we had scheduled, and we had our tickets and everything.
Which is another reason we like to take our vacations, because we don't want to take any of that for granted after 2020. So we have a chance to travel. We're going to travel.
Can you help me with today's Puckdoku?
Puckdoku. I haven't done any of them. I've heard about it. I've thought about putting them together myself, but I haven't done any of them. It's an interesting idea. And I mean, it's kind of something that you can have limitless possibilities of what you want to do with it. But I don't know. I don't know how many answers I would necessarily have.
Will you ever do a meetup in Victoria?
Getting over to the island is tricky.
Yeah.
We've talked about it.
We have.
It's
probably
tricky.
Will one day.
It's pricey,
but
going on it's one of those things that, again, if it was a weekend where we didn't have kids and we could make a day of it in Victoria and have a hotel and, go to the beach.
I think it'd be fun to do with the kids too.
And I find that when we travel without the children, it's a little less stressful.
Of course it is. Everything is less stressful with kids. Do you guys ever listen to King's X?
I've heard of them.
I don't know what that is.
I've heard of them. I don't listen to them personally.
Any second thoughts on acceptable Stanley Cup champs?
Nope. I did that. I'm perfectly fine with it. I know there's people who say that if Toronto won, that people would be really upset. I don't think so. There would be some, but I think a majority of people would just be happy that the whole Canada thing was set aside. And Toronto won a Stanley Cup, their first since 1967. I don't know how many people can be mad at that.
Will you ever do a meetup in Finland? And
we've talked about it. We have talked about going to Europe.
We would one day, maybe. So our two oldest are 16 and 18. So hopefully one day they will move out. Hopefully, I'm hoping before they're 30. That's my hope. But then at that point, then we'd be able to do more things like that, which would be awesome.
I don't know that I'd want to wait that long. I'd rather do a trip when I have the energy and the stamina for that kind of
or
a trip.
Even I think when Gabriel's like out of school and everything, and we can actually leave the house.
Because there's places in the world I've always wanted to see, like the Scottish Highlands, the Alps, Switzerland's supposed to be absolutely stunning.
Mm-hmm. But we have talked about it.
Scandinavian countries. It'd be one of those things.
It'll be a few more years once we get Malachi all figured out and
but again, then you're looking at cost and time, and it just it can get kind of overwhelming quickly.
Be awesome though.
It would. It'd be fantastic.
Are the Coyotes playoff dark horses if Dumba signs?
No. The Coyotes still have some holes in that lineup. I think that it's realistic that they could end up at 80 to 82 points and be in the mix a little bit here and there. I don't see them as a playoff team.
I think many believe Toronto's problems are self-inflicted.
A lot of it is the mental side of it, and that's really hard to fix. I think it's more difficult to fix a team that's having that mental hurdle than a team that has a physical hurdle where you can overcome that either by new players, the right therapies, the right training. For Toronto, a lot of it's just between the ears, and they need to believe in themselves. And you can see when they have that moment that they just kind of go, it's happening again. And that you can't have that.
Who's your favorite Vancouver Canuck player of all time?
Cliff Ronning.
Thoughts on the Canucks core? Who will they move on, and who will stay if they were to win the Stanley Cup?
Apparently, Besser wants to stick around, and I don't see any reason to have to trade Besser because, again, right now his value is low. Teams are looking to take on anybody with terms, so they'd have to pay a team to take him. I think they have a decent core. I could see Garland being moved, if anybody. I think that part of the reason why they're not willing to do a rebuild or commit to a retool even is because they want to make sure Pettersson and Hughes stick around. And Demko having a bounce back season could be huge too. I think they have all the pieces necessary to go on a run, make the playoffs and go on a run. But everybody has to buy in right out of the gate, and that defense needs to be better.
Do you think the Coyotes make Keller the captain? If not him, do you think they will make anyone captain?
It's got to be Keller's. It just has to be, unless they feel like Schmaltz is a good opportunity. If they feel like he makes a better captain, I think that it has to be Keller's because he's the present and the future for the team.
Why do the Canadians dislike the Coyotes so much?
So there's a perception that the Arizona Coyotes exist because the Winnipeg Jets moved, and so there's been a perception in Canada that was a mistake, taking a team from a Canadian hotbed like Winnipeg and moving them to the desert. And so since then, there's definitely a large portion of the population in Canada that watches hockey that feels like there was an injustice there. And that was right after Quebec lost, or it was right before Quebec lost their team too. So Arizona gets a lot of heat and will continue to get that heat until they have a new arena and some stability. But don't be surprised when there's still Canadians that every time Arizona says something, will say, this team should be in Quebec. Why isn't this team in Quebec? Move the team to Quebec. And they're not the only franchise that has got that, but I know that's a big part of it.
Would you ever consider a role in the Canucks organization in your future if the opportunity presented itself?
I'm not sure what I would do. I mean, like, I guess doing rinkside stuff. But again, it's a matter of we don't live in Vancouver, so it gets kind of tough. And traffic between here and Vancouver is awful generally. And
hopefully once they
at game
expanding
times,
the highway,
which is going to be in about 2065, I think, is when they'll have this done. Because they're very slowly.
They keep doing a few kilometers at a time, and each time they do like 5 more kilometers, it still takes 3 years for that section. And so they haven't even got to the part that is always backed up.
Yeah.
Because it's always backed up between Aldergrove and Langley, and they haven't even started that part.
Nope.
Not that I have to drive that road frequently, and it's awful every single time.
So working for the Canucks organization, I could see like in some kind of a host role or some kind of digital stuff. But again, I don't know if it would work. And I've never been contacted by the Canucks for anything like that either.
When they're 18, they can take care of the cats in the house when you're gone.
You would think.
Well, our 18-year-old cannot.
Yeah, he can't.
He's special needs, and he cannot be alone at home at all, ever.
No.
Our 16-year-old, when he's older, I won't have any problem.
But he's a bit scatterbrained, and we'd have to keep reminding him.
Right.
We'd have to. So you fed them, right?
As he gets older.
Oh, so. I was just gonna do that. Yep. All right. That kind of.
But thing. we have a 10-year-old as well, so that's longer. What are your bunny's favorite vegetables?
Kale.
Well, they don't all have the same favorite. Cinnabon and Pickle love kale. Dandelion loves parsley. They all really like parsley, but Dandelion especially like parsley. Pickle also really likes tomatoes.
Jet likes food.
Yeah, Jet likes anything.
Jet's a big rabbit.
Licorice really likes the papaya, the dried papaya. It's not a vegetable, but he really likes dried papaya.
Cinnabon likes blueberries too.
That's true. Yeah,
which is not a vegetable, but again.
But parsley is the overall favorite, I would think, and kale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from a fruit perspective, licorice really likes apples too. It took a while. I had to give him an apple slice and leave him with it for a while, and then eventually he's like, "All right, fine," and then he liked it. So he's very much an old man.
The roast of THG's kids today, I see. Yeah, they're all right. Kids drive us crazy, though. I mean, but if anybody else is on,
we drive them crazy too. So it works.
No doubt, but that's our job.
Yeah.
We're supposed to. If we don't drive our kids crazy, we are doing something wrong.
I didn't see the soccer game. I know Australia beat the Canadians 4-0, and it looks like that's Christine Sinclair's. That's the end of her time representing Canada on a World Cup stage. Canada's always been like good at the World Cup, but it does feel like on the women's side they're falling off a bit, and other countries are going to get better. That's the way it works. So hopefully they're able to turn it around.
The NHL needs more purple.
Yep,
it absolutely does.
Yep, they absolutely do.
Oh, no carrots. We actually don't give the rabbits carrots very often. They don't eat them very much.
They're not a huge fan.
Carrots are not very healthy for rabbits. It's like candy to them. They're very high in sugar.
Yeah, they don't really, and they just.
We do give them carrots every once in a while. There's a lot of things that we give them every once in a while.
I think Waffles likes the
Waffles likes everything. Waffles likes everything. Yeah, she likes everything. But there's a lot of things that you can give bunnies every once in a while. They're fantastic compost bins. They love like the apple cores and the banana peels, and they even like the corn, the husks, and they like all of the compost. And so when we have carrots, I'll give them the tops. So I always buy the carrots with the greens attached to it because they love the leafy part.
I think they like the leafy part more than the actual carrot.
I think they do too. But
guinea pigs, though, they eat everything.
The guinea pigs really do eat everything. And I'll give like all of the end bits and stuff when I am cutting up for dinner. I give it to the rabbits. And then if there's anything the rabbits don't eat, I just give it to the guinea pigs and they will eat it.
Yep.
Works out quite well. What do you guys think of the Tragically Hip?
I like some of their songs. I was never a huge fan of the Hip, but I mean they're like the ultimate Canadian band, so they get my respect for that.
Yeah, it's not my style of music. They do have a few songs that I think are pretty good.
We should get going pretty quick.
Yeah.
So couple more questions, and then we'll wrap it up for today.
It's my sister's birthday today. Would appreciate if you could wish Goldie a happy 33rd birthday.
Happy 33rd birthday to Goldie.
McDavid will want to go somewhere he can win a cup.
Well, that's why it's important for the Oilers to prove they can win here. Picking up Ekholm was a big move for them. I do wonder with Skinner how he'll progress and what'll happen. But the Oilers, yeah, they need to at least get to a Stanley Cup final, something before that McDavid contract is up.
Best food spot to check out in Vancouver. We don't really eat.
We don't eat very much in Vancouver. So when we go into Vancouver, it's really just we go, we park, we watch whatever we're going to watch while we're there, and then we go get the van, and then we go home. We don't really make a day of it in Vancouver. We don't really eat very much in Vancouver, and if we do, it's fast food.
If you want to know restaurants in Abbotsford, we know places here, but we don't go. Vancouver's quite a drive. We don't go there to eat dinner.
No.
Let's see. Thoughts on Mission Impossible. We haven't watched that one.
I haven't watched any of the Mission Impossible movies. Complete disclosure. But I really like Haley Atwell. I may have to watch the new one because Haley Atwell's in it, and if I don't watch it, her career will fail. So I'm aware of this. It's a great responsibility I have.
Can Yvonne cut down on throwing things at concerts? Gosh, I can't even imagine.
What was it with you throwing stuff that last concert?
I would never.
You hit the dude in front of us.
Never. I would never do that.
I just couldn't believe that.
That's just rude. But I'm also one of those people that make sure I pick up all my garbage and properly recycle it and put it in the compost.
Where did that come from? I think it came from them. I don't know what happened there.
Last concert, I had guys next to me spilled quite a bit of beer on me. That had to have been a lot of money worth of beer that ended up on my legs.
It's the first time you smelled like beer the entire time we've been together. Because she's not a beer fan. So
no.
Me neither. I'd rather drink coolers and ciders.
But we really should go.
We should
get stuff to Gabriel.
But anyways, thanks guys for coming out. Greatly appreciated. I hope everybody has a good August. So July's now come to an end. So we got August, then September, and everybody's back in training camp. So
and just a quick note. So we are going on our holiday next Thursday.
Yep.
But then that week after, we'll be in Anaheim, and we'll be doing a meetup on the Wednesday. Is that the 17th? No.
16th?
16th. Wednesday the 16th. We don't have it figured out where we're going to go or the actual time for it.
Because we're going to the Ducks Arena that day as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But we plan on doing a meetup. It's not necessarily hockey. But maybe kind of like what we did last time or something.
Don't say not necessarily. Don't tease me, woman.
No. Well, because I don't
tease me with the prospect of me playing street hockey.
I don't know how that would work.
I don't know how
it would work.
Maybe we could email Disney and go, hey,
but if people from the area want to help us figure out where we could meet and ideas on what time works for people.
Email
because
at
first
Facebook
I was
page.
Thinking like 3 or 4, but then realizing it's a Wednesday, so it's probably too early for most people. But we can do later because we don't have anything actually planned for that day.
Yep.
But if people can help us.
That's our off day.
Tell us ideas, right? So. But I made the event on Facebook so that people can let us know. It's supposed to be 30 degrees when we're in Anaheim, which for us is really hot. I don't know what Shannon's talking about. That's hot, but doable. It's supposed to be in 40 in Vegas. But what are you? Such a dork.
I can't believe you said that.
What did I say?
Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that's we're gonna be having a meetup that day. We just don't know the where or the when yet, but it'll happen. Same as like last time we were in Anaheim. We ended up finding a place and a time, and all that figured out after.
But it is good if local people can help us out. Let us know what you guys think.
Maybe something near the arena, that kind of thing. So
yeah, if not though, it's okay too because we can do it later in the day. So we'd go back to our hotel between.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that sounds like a plan. Anyways, thanks guys for coming out. Greatly appreciated, and we will do this again soon. So yeah, take care.